If you're going to bring the level of talent that I expect on this team, you have to have folks to be able to write the code. Otherwise, the designs are only ever going to be that good in Figma. It's so motivating. It's so magical to see putting a extremely talented visual designer with an extremely talented UI engineer and watch them level each other up. I say all the time that the users never see the Figma files. Like, your design quality and your design capabilities of your team is only as good as the UI engineers that are implementing it. And that is a good case for velocity as well. Of you have a whole lot less back and forth between the engineering and design. There's a lot less throwing over the wall because you have UI engineers that care a lot about making those pixel perfect Figma mockups come to life. And then you have designers who are less concerned about the translation process and having to, hey, will you move that 1 pixel? Like, this is off a little bit, because they're communicating to people that care, to where a standard product engineer who's not responsible for that would be more focused on the data layer, caching, API, which is equally important. But by separating those concerns, you have a UI engineer who is just focused on building extremely beautiful UI, like more than just making pretty shadows, but like the user experience. They're really passionate about that. And then on the other end, you have the designers who design this and care a lot about what it looks like and design with intent. And they want to work with somebody who cares equally about the execution of it. So before, it was a designer works with a product engineer, and a non-technical designer struggles to communicate with a product engineer because they don't understand what to say for them to understand like an implementation strategy and code. But now you have this translator in the in-between, that the designer's working closely with the UI engineer and watching the designs come to life. And then you have a UI engineer that takes their vision together and implements that, and then works with the product engineer who's working on the API side of things to communicate everything that they're needing, because they're very familiar with the API handoff and the state layer and all of that, to where the designer's not at all. And now you have someone who can translate that to engineering. So you have performance increase on product engineering, because now they're not having to write any CSS or focus or care about any of that. You have performance increase on the UI side, because now your quality of your design is leveled up. Because again, your users aren't going to see the Figma files. They're only going to see what's implemented. And you have somebody in place to really care about that implementation. And then you have a performance increase in the designers, because now the quality that they care about is being translated into the code, because they're working with folks that care as much about making sure that the quality stays the same from Figma to VS Code.